Today I'm in the seaside resort of Scarborough, up on the coast of Yorkshire. Panoramic views from up here, wonderful sight. Now Scarborough is divided into two really by this headland with the castle on it, and we were looking at the northern part of the coastline. Up ahead of us you can see the castle, which stands high on the headland, and around the headland we come into the main part of Scarborough, what's known as the Old Town. It's the noisy, popular part. I've come to the main cemetery in Scarborough, Dean Road and Manor Road cemeteries. Well, this is the main path from the entrance. You can see the grave memorials stretching away to the left, and if I come back to the right, many more. One here to John William Swales, 1928, and it's got the two carved angels either side. And opposite, under the shady holly tree, is this angel in loving memory of my dear wife Gladys. No mention of him. Perhaps there was no one left to put the words on the memorial when he left. As we carry on walking up the main path, it now splits in each direction. I'm going to take the left because it's further away from a road and we're likely to get a little less background noise. You can see in the graveyard there's been quite a lot of clearance of stones. There's quite a lot of gaps between the memorials that are left. But there's still plenty left. There's still plenty to see. Very detailed and clever carving here of the anchor, the cross, and in particular the links in the chain. Seems to be something a little bit missing on the end of the anchor. And the name at the bottom is James Henry Ringrose. This large prominent one in the different colour stone stands out from many around it, and it's Gammon Taylor, a barrister at law, and Mary Fraser, sister of the above, and beneath that we've got Anne Taylor. Some quite detailed carving up there. I'm walking up between the stones. A traffic noise in the background, I'm afraid. A tall, slender memorial on my left, and a sort of pink marble. Wander across and just get a name. And this is Robert. I can't get the rest of it. Prudames, possibly. Let's move on to others here. John Raper. Now he has an anchor, but he also has something else in the background of the anchor, which I'm not quite clear what that is. But it does tell us that he was a master mariner. On there to Thomas Wilkinson. This tall one, again with an urn on the top. This is to Sarah, the wife of Jesse Denby. It is a very pleasant spot, and they've worked hard to keep the grass down. They've decided not to go with the wildflower appearance, but more of a lawn finish to the cemetery. Over there you can see the Chapel of Rest, probably one of two. There's normally two, one for the conformists, one for the non-conformists. There's a large one up here. Let's see if we can get a name off this one. William Mosley, a ship owner. Another nice chain and anchor carved in for George Appleyard, Master Mariner. I'm looking at a very tall column in front of me. We'll work our way across to it. Chances are I've chosen the wrong side to get a name, but we'll work right the way around. Well, there is a name there, but it's not going to be easy to decipher that. It's a lovely stone, but it hasn't kept the name very well. Oh, there's one on the lower level, Thomas William Dawson, and something about Fernandez, and the one above it is Fernandez. And if we come round to this face at the lower level, the wife of TWDL Fernandez. So this is the name, the family name on this very tall column. This one under the tree is John Fairgrave Sharpin, and on the side here this is to his wife Jeanette. Now if you can make out her silhouette there, there she is remembered. Well, I'm passing the Chapel of Rest. As you can see, it's basically derelict. Great shame. Although there's piles of bricks or stone outside, so maybe they're trying to renovate it. But we'll carry on working our way through the cemetery memorials, and there's quite a long way to go yet. This one with a recently renovated inscription, very clear to read, but what took my eye was the surname, Samuel Mainprize, and he was a builder. Beneath that we've got one of their sons who sadly gave his life on the Somme, and some other names beneath that. This very solid one with a slight kilter to the left is for Pirrie, James Pirrie, Justice of the Peace and Mayor of the Borough. He's in a very prominent spot next to the chapel. Well, there's a lot to see here, and my eye keeps getting pulled in different directions to look at different memorials. You could certainly spend several days in here finding things of interest. I'm just going to give you a taster as I walk through it for the first time. Let's go to the right this time. Another junction in the path. You can just see down there, they're actually busy mowing the grass. The preference here is to be a lawn cemetery rather than the wildlife. just a multitude of memorials, and I noticed that they're claiming that they've restored a number, so they are definitely caring for this cemetery. I see that the path leads down and under the road into another section. You go across to the one on the right here. This one in the white stone stands out. We've got two angels lifting up a lady whose feet are on the clouds, and that's presumably Christiana, the daughter of Robert and Hannah McLaurin, who died aged 19. This very tall and grand plot commemorates my sweetheart Adelaide, the affectionate wife of Vincent Charles White. And if you look down here, they've actually printed some music with the words, "Sweet are the thoughts of thee." It's quite unusual to put the word sweetheart on the gravestone. Rather nice. My sweetheart Adelaide. And this one to Thomas Whitaker, JP. He was a temperance advocate. And there's his likeness. Typical elderly Victorian gentleman's likeness with the full beard and receding forehead. They all seem to come out of a similar mould. Well, I've passed under the tunnel into this section, and again we're given a choice, go left or right. I'm going to head left. And we're going down now. This is heading down quite a steep slope. Now, whether you can see amongst the trees there are a lot of stones in the shade here. Maybe the camera will pick it up. And the same across the path there, in the shade of the trees. Let's follow this path down and see where it leads. Looking across to my right, there's a very elaborate one in the centre there. We'll go past this yew tree, and we'll go across and have a look at this one. Here's this mournful young lady clinging to the cross. She doesn't have wings, so I'm not going to call her an angel. And it says there, William Arthur, their second son, our mother, Jane, wife of William Johnson. Very nicely done. Carrying on down the path here. A lot of these stones on this particular part are missing bits, just the base left. Presumably the crosses or columns have broken and fallen. If I look down this path here, and if you can make it out, there's a very high, looks like possibly a footbridge up there with iron railings passing over the path. And down the side here, gravestones, and back amongst the trees, you could probably make out more. This one with the flying angel, nicely done. Very elaborate bridge, but I don't know whether it's still in use. It looks a bit overgrown at the top there. Everywhere I look, stones. A lot of them are not very good repair here, but you know, if there's no one left to maintain them, Now just behind this tree I'm noticing a war grave tucked in here. Let's go and have a look. This is 1918, W.G. Branson, a gunner, Royal Field Artillery, and he died aged 28. Just tucked in here amongst all the much older graves, presumably as a family plot. This is quite an amazing graveyard. I really haven't got my bearings yet. I'm just following paths and taking turnings as and when. Now I notice up over the back here is another isolated war grave. Let's go around that way. Up above the trees there are yet more paths leading to more graves. So work my way around here. Now there's one in front of it. I don't know whether it's another part of the family. So let's look at the war grave itself first. Sub-Lieutenant R.C. Scrimmager, Royal Naval Volunteer Reserves, 1945, age 22. And in front we've got Kenneth Scrimmager, aged 7 months, in 1921, and a couple of other names there. You are not forgotten. Tom, Harry, Bill, John, Jimmy and Pat. Up here is what looks like a very large stone beehive, and it has a plaque on the front, but unless I scramble up that bank I'm not going to be able to see the names on it, but that's extraordinary, very unusual. Well, I have found a way up, and this remembers the civilians whose lives were lost during the bombardment of Scarborough by German naval guns, December the 16th, 1914. And it lists the names on there, I think it's about 19, who were killed by the bombardment. And I followed the path a little bit further around, and there's another area. It's all curves here. I think I'm through to the far side of the graveyard now. Another area here, less grand. The one led to Henry Thomas Lester, 1923. So we've still got memorials that are 100 years old. Let's just wander through here. These are less imposing. But can still be very interesting. My eye is caught over there by a war grave, in fact 2 war graves. One directly in front is more of a brown stone, and a bit further over you can see the one in the white stone. This is Major W.H. Hunstone of the General List, 1919. And then over here, the one in white, and as I scan around I can see another one in the distance in white. This one is M. Jenkins, ordinary seaman with his number, and then HMMTB. TB will be torpedo boat, 1944, age 19. Now over in the woods to my right are some youngsters playing, so if you hear some screams and shouts, don't be concerned, they're just having a good time. And now I come round here and the graves just stretch away into the distance. Lots of them are in bad state of repair. All these here would have had crosses on top, and the crosses have gone, fallen and been removed. The bases are there still. Let's go through here. There's a path here which is down in the dip, and yet more graves as we go across to the other side. Now if I look down the path there, that leads back presumably to the part of the graveyard that had the very large memorials where we first came in, I think. As the name suggested, it seems to be two cemeteries joined together where we went under the road. This is the one with the lesser memorials. The first part was the one with the very grand ones. But they just go on right over there as far as you can see. I think I'm going to turn right here and go back on that path we just saw and head back towards the first part with the very large memorials. It really is a lovely place. You could spend a long time walking around here and probably get lost several times. I think we probably need to head downhill. So let's take this path. I think right down the bottom there I can see the path we came in on. Let's take this trail here. Just here on the left is William Rowntree JP, 1896, and Sarah Watkins Rowntree, just tucked away in a little corner off the path here. Now we'll carry on down this path. I'm hoping it makes its way down to the original trail. You can see through the gap in the tree there, more memorials. It really is very peaceful. And here we are. This is we saw the sort of footbridge going over that looks derelict or deserted, unused. So we're coming back where we came in. And this is the arches supporting the bridge, and that's the path I want to get down to. So let's see if I can make my way down here. I think we'll make it with a bit of luck. There we are, we're down. We're back along this path that we came through a little while ago. And again, all the memorials, the top bits have been taken away, the crosses, the columns. The bases are left, but of course the base often has the inscription, so they could be listed and deciphered. Here's one for any cricket fans. David Hunter, Yorkshire County wicketkeeper who died in 1927, aged 66. Well, I'm heading back through the first part of the graveyard that we saw, the one with all the very large memorials, and the one with the derelict chapel of rest. But there is so much I could show you in here. We've got to keep the video to a practical length. And that's the main vehicle entrance. We didn't come in that way, but that's one entrance you can use. There's one on the corner here, has been cropped. I will imagine it was a lot taller than that originally. I don't see the inscription now, so maybe that was on the top part. There's a huge one down here. Let's go and have a look at it. We've got the figure on the top, the angel on the top. From this angle it looks as though it's kneeling. I don't think that's a common depiction, a kneeling angel. Not one I recall seeing. And this is to Annie Lee, 1860, and George Lee. I'm afraid the light's not going to let me go up close to that one. The sun will be right into the camera. It looks like the caretaker's cottage there. Well, that's my visit to the main cemetery in Scarborough. It is big, and I will say it is pretty well looked after in the early part where the large memorials are. They seem to have an active body of supporters, and a lot of the stones have been repaired and erected. The second part leaves a bit more to be desired, but you haven't got limitless resources to put it all right. If you're in Scarborough, then you're going to want quite some time to wander around this huge cemetery. But it's well worth the trouble. I've just given you a taster. Do come. Till the next time.